Hey everybody, I am with Jamie.
Hello.
She is a prior client and has come multiple times to do a Boudoir and empowerment session. So I wanted to interview you to share how your experience went, because I think that could be helpful for other people understanding the process a bit better. So,
Sounds good.
welcome. My first question for you is, what made you want to do your first boudoir session?
Well, I think it was several years ago. A friend of mine on Facebook, she had posted some her experience and some pictures, and I thought, wow, that's incredible, but probably not for me. And that was kind of it. And then one of my other friends actually did have a photo shoot with you, and she couldn't stop talking about the pictures were amazing, the experience was wonderful, and I was a lot more intrigued about it now. So that's really what started the whole, the beginning of the journey of this experience.
How did you feel before your session?
I would say nervous. Mostly that I didn't really know what to wear. I thought it was all about the clothes, and I don't have a lot of, sexy underwear and whatever. So that was a big piece that I was thinking I was not going to be prepared for, that I was going to mess up a whole bag of stuff. And I think I only used 3 things and realized that it's really not about the outfits.
Absolutely.
So the thing that I was the most stressed about was actually not stressful. And you definitely helped me with the consultation part of how to pick things that may work for me, or just maybe even places to go and get those that were inexpensive and very convenient.
How did you feel during your session?
I was not prepared for that feeling. I thought the day when I got here that I would be nervous. I was very, very excited. My daughter, who was about 18 at the time, made a playlist for me, and I had a couple sips of champagne. I was getting my hair done and my makeup done, which I've never had them both done together at the same time. So I kind of felt like a celebrity. I know it sounds cheesy, but I really went from sweatpants and my hair down to this gorgeous hair, my makeup I've never had like that, and the whole day was about me, which as a mom and as a healthcare employee, it's never really about you. It's really about everybody else. So I think that piece I wasn't expecting to enjoy, because I think most women are very humble and don't want things to be about them, but it was about me, and I loved it. It was great.
How'd you feel after your session?
Like I wanted to do it again. That my mind was blown, because I think that I just came in with not a lot of expectations and not a lot of ideas about how it was going to go, and I could not have planned it any better. Like I said, I felt like a celebrity. I felt beautiful. I felt secure, calm. I mean, the way that you are behind the camera is very calming, secure. It's wonderful, and I guess I've never felt that way, especially with someone I hadn't known very well. And you're in this vulnerable position, but I never actually felt vulnerable, which is really weird to say when you're wearing different types of outfits in front of someone you don't know very well, and they're taking pictures.
Absolutely.
So
right.
I think that piece was the most surprising piece, is that I did not feel vulnerable or insecure at all during that experience, and that was kind of surprising.
And I think that's a key part of when you're choosing a photographer, whoever, even if someone wasn't to choose me, and I tell people this, when I speak with them, is that you have to feel comfortable with their energy, because it is a super vulnerable place to be. And so if you don't feel comfortable with that person, then it's probably not the right fit. So I'm glad that I was able to make that space for you safe and fun.
Yeah, and I also think I was initially, when I got here and it started, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know how to smile that way or twist that way, and you would model it and then I would do it, and then there was a lot of positive feedback. So then I was like, I want to do it more, because you are feeling sexy and fun, and it was just a great experience that I was not really prepared for.
Yeah, I think a lot of people worry about, I don't know what to do, I'm not a
Yeah.
professional model, and you're not supposed to,
Mm-hmm.
because it is that, I think that's really nerve wracking for a lot of people too. Like, oh my God, do I look at you? Do I smile? Do I what? And it's like, calm, breathe, slow breathing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And get out of the head. It's
Mhm.
all getting out of the head.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun. And I love watching when you guys go from, you know, the nervousness
Mhm.
to, okay, and then finding your groove, and then being like, I'm a badass.
Like, I'm not done yet.
Right. We have to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you recommend this to other women, and why?
Yes, 100%. I would and I do recommend it to other women because I think that it's not even just about the pictures. It's really about the experience. And again, that piece I was not thinking about. I was actually just thinking I was going to have a pretty big surgery shortly after my shoot, and I said, well, I don't really want those scars on my pictures, so I'll do it now. So that was really my motivation, was I kind of want to get this piece of time frozen, or pictures frozen in time. So I really didn't think about the experience at all. I was really thinking more that this is about the pictures, and I very quickly realized it's not at all about the pictures, really. It's about the experience. So I do tell people that, and I feel like every woman around deserves the opportunity to feel what I felt, because it really, really is something that you can't describe. The feeling is so much different than just describing it, I guess. You really have to experience that. And I mean, I think that every woman should have the opportunity to do that, or make it so that that is a priority. And that's what it was for me. Like I said, I initially just wanted the pictures because I knew things were going to change for my body, and I was willing to do whatever to get that. And yeah, I definitely would.
And I agree. I think the pictures kind of act as like an emotional button for people, right? So kind of like if you smell a smell, you hear a song, it brings you back to a moment in time. So the pictures can act like that. Like, so if you're having a crappy day, you can pull them out and be like, oh my God, yeah, I remember how I felt in that moment.
And I do
And
use my
kind-
pictures for that.
You know, so yeah, that's the tangible takeaway, but I agree that it's really the journey and the experience of self-discovery and, you know, self-acceptance, hopefully, and, you know, learning to start to love yourself again. So yeah, I love that. I would like to talk to you or ask you a little bit about you wanting to apply to be a brand ambassador this past year. Tell me a little bit about what made you want to apply to do that after you had done a shoot for yourself.
Well, I think it goes back into, you know, helping other women realize that this experience is something they really should do. And so I think that was part of my motivation, was that, wow, I could help kind of share my experience, or share my photos, or share my vulnerable situations. And maybe that would help people who are kind of on the fence about thinking this is a vain thing that people do because they love to see pictures of themselves, or they're trying to impress their spouse, or whatever that is. And so I thought that that would be a great way to help people kind of understand my story and how I got to this wonderful experience, and, you know, help maybe answer some questions or some fears for them, or how did you make it happen, or what was what was your favorite part, or that kind of thing. So that was really the motivation for that. And I had a friend that was a brand ambassador from before that really, really enjoyed her experience and was very empowered after the entire experience. So that was a good motivator as well.
I love that. And I know you had to apply, and I got many applications, and I just wanted to share that one of the reasons why I chose you was that from outside looking in, you are the epitome of the societal standards of beauty.
Well, thank you.
That being said, that doesn't mean that you don't struggle with self-esteem or body issues based on your experiences. So I was wondering if you would talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so like I said, I was going to have a big surgery. So I've had a lot of medical, actually fairly large medical and health issues. And I actually have had people assume that maybe my life is a certain way based on how I look. And it's a very frustrating thing. And I would imagine people who have a deformity or have some type of disability or are overweight or are underweight probably experience the same kind of judgment based on what they look like on the outside. And it's not fun and it's not necessary. And so I think part of that, again, motivation for me was to share that part, that you may think by looking at my athletic body that I have no issues and I'm not on injections and infusions and had brain surgery and had my intestines removed, part of my intestines removed and things like that. So that's frustrating, I think, to go through those things and really struggle, and people assume that it must be nice, you know, lucky you. And also I work really hard. I am an athletic person. I play competitive women's basketball. I work really hard to stay healthy, not because I'm concerned about what I look like, but I'm concerned about my health and well-being. And so when people judge you based on, oh, she must be vain because she, you know, works out. Well, no, I'm actually trying to keep my body healthy because I have a lot of health problems. So I think there were kind of multiple reasons why to become a brand ambassador, to share my story, to clear up some stigma that, you know, oh wow, it must be nice she has, you know, she wears a size 8. She doesn't have any problems. And that's not true. And that everyone's struggling, whether it's mental health, medical, whatever type of thing.
Absolutely.
So I think it's just nice to remind everybody to judge people based on their character and personality and experiences and not by what they look like. So
Right, we are more than our bodies.
yes,
It's a vessel.
absolutely. And I've been in denial of my body in terms of medical things for so long that this was also an opportunity to accept that. You know, accept that I have scars, accept that I had my head shaved, accept those types of things, that I'm still who I am on the inside. And that is what came out through the pictures.
Well, not for you.
So one of my favorite pictures of myself, I've told you this before, you do not see my face or my body. All you see is the back of me with my hair and like a blazer. And it's one of the most badass pictures ever and most powerful. So when I have friends that are like, I would love to do it, but I need to lose 10 pounds, or I don't like this. And I'm like, my favorite picture, you do not see my face or my body. So I'm not sure what the issue is. You know, it's not about the picture. It's about that moment in time where I felt the way I felt.
And it was powerful.
Powerful. So the days that I struggle with medical stuff, I see that and I'm like, that's you, girl.
And I love that you got a 16 by 24 wall art.
And I hang it in my
Metal wall art,
office.
yeah.
No one can see it, you know, on my Zoom calls, but it reminds me of like, whatever's going on, that's in there.
Yes.
So everybody should do it.
Thank you. I really appreciate you sharing, because I know it's hard to put yourself out there in general and to talk about things that some people don't want to talk about and have to focus on, and it's a journey, I think, for people to start to accept where they are at and where they want to be.
That's another thing I wasn't expecting during this process, is to finally come to terms with my own medical stuff, because I have been running from them. Oh, I'm not going to do that. You know, oh, Jamie, you're supposed to have these labs drawn and you're supposed to do this medication, and I would just kind of be in denial and avoid it. And this really was like, look at what's on the inside. You need to really take care of yourself and do the things people are asking you to do, and come to terms with the scars and the infusions and the medications and losing your hair and all of that stuff, because it's still in there, right? Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you, and I love you. Oh. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Thank you.
you coming and doing this.
Subscribe.